Welcome to section 14.1, part 2. This is the 149th session of the CISSP exam prep series. This part continues our tour through the access control models. In this session, we'll finish the family of models. How do roles and tasks organize access? What makes a rule-based model global? How does attribute-based control add flexibility? How does mandatory access control use labels? And how does a risk-based model decide on the fly? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because choosing the wrong model quietly costs you for years. Picture a hospital network, a defense contractor, and a streaming service. Each one needs a different authorization philosophy to survive. Match the model to the mission, and access stays both secure and manageable. Mismatch it, and you either drown in manual grants or leave dangerous gaps wide open. Let's go a bit deeper on roles. How do roles keep access clean as people move? By tying privileges to the role, not the person, so movement is trivial. When someone leaves a group, every privilege that group carried vanishes from their account at once. Users can also sit in several roles, so a manager might hold the manager, loan officer, and teller roles together. There is a close cousin called task-based access control, where each user gets a specific set of tasks rather than a broad role. Picture a project tool where a member can update only their own assigned tasks and nothing else. Why do so many applications reach for roles? Because roles slash the labor of running the app. Think of a common web publishing platform with a tidy ladder of roles, from subscriber at the bottom up to super admin at the top. Each higher role simply inherits everything below it and adds more. A contributor drafts posts, an author publishes them, an editor manages everyone's content, and an administrator controls the whole site. Define the ladder once, and you drop each new person onto the right rung. Now, a model that treats everyone the same. What defines a rule-based access control model? A single set of rules applied globally to every subject, with no exceptions per person. The classic example is a firewall. It carries an ordered list of rules that permit certain traffic, and it judges every packet against the same list. At the very end sits an implicit deny rule, silently blocking anything the earlier rules did not explicitly allow. The rules do not care who you are. They care only what the traffic is. How do you make rules smarter than one size fits all? With attribute-based access control, an advanced form of rule-based control. Instead of one flat rule for everyone, it writes policies from multiple attributes, like the user's group, their department, the device they carry, and the network they sit on. That lets you write a policy in near plain language, such as allow managers to reach the wide area network from a tablet or smartphone. You get the structure of rules with the precision of real conditions. This is why software-defined networks lean on it so heavily. Now, the strictest model of the set. How does mandatory access control decide who gets in? Through labels attached to both subjects and objects, set centrally and never by the user. Give a document a secret label, and only a subject who also carries a matching secret clearance may open it. Labels form a hierarchy of sensitivity, so a top secret clearance usually covers everything below it. Because a clearance alone is not enough, the model layers in compartments, like separate boxes inside a level, so you also need the specific compartment label to enter. That is the need-to-know principle baked directly into the design. Why is mandatory access control called a lattice-based model? Because when you diagram the labels and compartments, it looks like a garden lattice, the crisscross frame you train climbing roses on. Horizontal lines mark the upper edge of each classification level, and small compartments sit within them for extra separation. Classifications run in one of three flavors. A hierarchical environment stacks levels so higher clearance reaches down. A compartmentalized environment isolates each domain with no relationship between them. A hybrid environment blends both, giving fine-grained control that grows harder to manage as it spreads. This model is prohibitive and rigid, more secure than discretionary control, but far less flexible. Finally, a model that adapts in the moment. How does a risk-based model decide access on the fly? By weighing the environment, the situation, and policies written directly into software code. Consider a patient record system. A doctor in the emergency room during an active crisis is judged low risk and granted full access. A pharmacist checking for drug interactions gets narrower access to the same records because the situation warrants less. The model reads signals like the login location, whether multi-factor authentication was used, and whether the device is compliant. Advanced versions even use machine learning to compare current behavior against past patterns and adjust. So let's bring it together. Role-based control ties privileges to roles and beats privilege creep, with task-based control as its narrower cousin. Rule-based control applies one global set of rules to everyone, like a firewall. Attribute-based control upgrades that with multi-attribute policies for real flexibility. Mandatory access control uses labels and compartments in a rigid lattice that enforcers need to know. And risk-based control decides dynamically from environment, situation, and policy. Choose the model that fits the mission, and authorization stays both strong and sane. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.